Dr. O with a Substack essay, Resisting Hypernormalization While Staying Sane. I never heard the word hypernormalization before last week. Quote, hypernormalization describes life in a society where two main things are happening. The first is people seeing that governing systems and institutions are broken. The second is that, for reasons including a lack of effective leadership and an inability to imagine how to disrupt the status quo, people carry on with their lives as normal despite systemic dysfunction. Give or take a heavy load of fear, dread, denial, and dissociation. It's the visceral sense of waking up in an alternative timeline with a deep bodily knowing that something isn't right, but having no clear idea how to fix it. Unquote. That's from The Guardian, Wellness, and it's titled Hypernormalization, Dysfunction, Status Quo. Things that make you go, and in this case, such a great explanation of what I am seeing happening around me. People are emotionally numbing out. And the more I read, the more I am realizing that we are essentially drifting into two worldviews. Salvation through high-tech, AI-assisted bunkering down, focus on off-planet solutions, or the rapture, or my way, recommitment to the earth as stewards, guardians, integrally interwoven community. You can listen for an optimistic but deeply disturbing 25-minute analysis of what is called End Times Fascism by Naomi Klein. I will link you to that. At age 68, as I said, I am committed to the latter worldview. And here are some of the tools that I am using to stay sane in a truly insane world. Choose your battles and your strategies, but make choices. I am choosing to model being off of as much of the G Mafia, that's a acronym for Google, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Instagram, and Amazon, and that universe of evildoers as is humanly possible. I have yet to find my way off of PayPal and WhatsApp. And PayPal is led by Peter Thiel, and he is a most evil man. Evil, it's an adjective. Morally bad or wrong, wicked, causing ruin, injury, or pain, harmful, characterized by or indicating future misfortune, ominous. So anybody who believes that Greta Thunberg is the next Antichrist, as Peter Thiel does, needs to be seriously watched. That factoid was referenced, cited 15 minutes in on that End Times Fascism conversation I linked you to on YouTube. Find one or more of the 4 pillars to resist fascism, which show up in my visual image that I have here, that can work for you. Then do the work and stay in your lane. I am leaning into what I can do to actually protect the people, which is stressful and scary as a Black woman with an African name living within 100 miles of the U.S.-Canada border where ICE roams free. But as stressful and scary as civil disobedience, not as stressful and scary as civil disobedience for me would be in 2025, or working within the system to make change that way. Thank you, Becca Ballant. It's a dirty job. You're my state representative, and I'm very glad you're doing it. I'm deeply committed to creating new culture. So, check out the Earth Spirit community of neo-pagan people who have been around for 47 years, trying to communicate what it's like for white people who disconnect from Christianity and go to their deeper roots in Europe as people of the earth. And a second one that's been around for over 50 years, and that is the Rainbow Tribe community that go off into the woods every 4th of July. I have links on my Substack page to both of those organizations. Since the shit has hit, I want connections to the folks who know how to head for the hills, keep the water supply clean, and build the sanitation facilities. I have been praying down conservative social systems for a good 30 years. Chickens have come home to roost, and it feels as if that dominator culture collapse is now in free fall and for real right now. So I take responsibility for where I am in my own prayer practice. I am now imagining human spiritual evolution. A good thing to imagine when rational next steps and options look particularly bleak. It's hard to pray a system down when you are dependent on any part of it. I have been blessed with 6 years of regular and reliable Social Security payments. That allowed me to live in a voluntarily simple way without a lot of stress. Now I must think of other sources of income because Social Security is definitely becoming insecure. I had hoped to use Substack's paid subscription service to create another stream of income, but Stripe is truly impossible to work with. PissedConsumer.com rates a 1.3 star rating on 162 customer reviews. And I'm taking that as a sign from Spirit. So no more paid subscription options over at Substack. And if anybody's interested in making financial contributions to me, that's always welcome. Payment options will be listed at the end of every Substack article. Back in the days of busking and passing the hat at the end of a performance, not a bad deal. I'm okay with that. I'm committing to continuing giving my gifts while receiving financial compensation whenever possible. My tribe needs nature and connection to the earth, literally. I really do hug trees. I find the experience of having my arms wide around a trunk that I cannot fully embrace while looking up into the canopy of branches and leaves over my head, imagining the equally large root system in the earth beneath my feet, as a very, very grounding practice. Let me read the news so you don't have to. That's what I'm modeling on Substack with batched commentary every 2 weeks. I'm modeling right-sized resilience. I'm not bouncing right back up when hearing the hard stuff, but moving through the emotions and giving them space to land. I am using the power of breath work to direct those emotions places I want them to go. Anger into power, fear into excitement, grief and sadness into compassion, and joy multiplied. I will continue to batch my own social commentary as a review for readers, viewers, and listeners every 2 weeks, and will network the good stuff I find on Substack in between. Hypernormalization describes a pathological response to rising end times fascism. Call it what it is. We can do better.